Love never fails, not because it always gets what it wants, but because it continues when everything else breaks. True love, selfless, sacrificial, enduring, is the one force on earth that does not decay. It is not based on merit or reciprocation. It is not a trade or a transaction. It is a quiet flame that burns even when the winds howl and the rain pours. St. Paul wrote, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails." 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4-8. These words are not poetry alone. They are a radical defiance against the world's measuring stick. The world says love fails when it is not returned, but the heavens say love is the return. This kind of love is what Christ lived. On the cross, he gave himself without promise of thanks. While being mocked, he forgave. While being pierced, he blessed. His love never failed, not because it conquered death in loud thunder, but because it chose to die and rise quietly for our sake. The saints lived in this pattern. St. Maximilian Kolbe stepped forward to take the place of a stranger. In Auschwitz, not because he would be remembered, but because love required it. St. Teresa of Calcutta touched the dying on the streets of Calcutta, not for admiration, but because love could not bear to look away. Such love is deeply rooted in divine strength. It is not natural for man to love like this. On our own, we are scorekeepers. We measure, we balance, we expect. But when love is infused by grace, it becomes something altogether different. It is not our love extended, it is God's love flowing through us. The Catechism of the Catholic Church says, "Charity is the theological virtue by which we love God above all things, for his own sake, and our neighbor as ourselves for the love of God." CCC 1822. This is the love that never fails, not because it prevents suffering, but because it transforms suffering into sanctification. This love purifies. It strips away ego. It makes space for the other. It does not demand to be seen or repaid or even understood. It exists in the mother who wakes through the night with her child, in the priest who quietly hears confessions for hours, in the friend who sits in silence with the grieving. It cannot be bought. It is not cheap or easy. It is forged in humility and sacrifice, and yet it brings the deepest peace. Because to live in this way is to live in the heart of God. When everything else fades, youth, fame, wealth, control, this love remains. As St. John of the Cross wrote, "In the evening of life, we will be judged on love alone." It is the foundation upon which every good thing rests. It builds bridges where walls once stood. It chooses to believe the best, even when it has every reason not to. It kneels before the broken and washes their wounds. When relationships rupture, this kind of love does not retaliate, it prays. When misunderstandings rise, it listens. When betrayed, it hopes still. It is not naive, it sees clearly, but it chooses to love anyway. This does not mean enabling harm or denying boundaries. Real love is wise. It speaks truth. It knows when to let go. But even in letting go, it does not curse. It blesses. This is the love that endures in marriages that weather decades, in communities that rebuild after loss, in people who show up even when the world tells them to walk away. St. Catherine of Siena once wrote, "Be who God meant you to be, and you will set the world on fire." That fire is not domination or victory. It is love that burns from within and spreads warmth into every cold place. Our culture rewards convenience, but love is not convenient. It is steadfast. It is the quiet decision to choose someone again and again, not out of obligation, but out of sacred commitment. The human heart was made for this. That is why it aches so deeply when it does not receive it. That is why betrayal hurts more than loss, and why forgiveness is the hardest and holiest act. Real love is not a feeling, though it often produces them. It is a decision, a virtue, a grace. It is the hidden root system beneath every saint's life. It is why St. Damien of Molokai embraced the lepers, why St. Joseph silently protected the Virgin, why Jesus washed feet. In the silence of the night, when all accolades fade and all noise stops, the soul craves only this, to be known and still loved. And so this kind of love, this radiant, relentless mercy, never fails. Because it does not hinge on outcomes. It is not diluted by rejection. It is not undone by time. It is the heartbeat of eternity. To love in this way is to taste heaven here. To give it is to become fully alive. To receive it is to glimpse the face of God. It never fails, because because it never leaves. Even when we walk away, this love remains at the threshold, waiting. Not to punish, but to welcome. This is the love that searches for the lost sheep, that rejoices more in one repentant heart than 99 who never wandered. This is why it heals, why it saves, why it is stronger than death, because it is not a concept or ideal, it is a person, and he is always faithful. Love never fails.